Do you want a box full of wrestling merchandise delivered to you every month? Check out WrestleCrate in the description and use discount code TOMSENTME for a cheeky 10% off.
Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video, and today I'm bringing you my WWE Survivor Series 2015 review. If you guys could do me a huge favour and smash the likes, if we can shoot for 300 likes overall, that would be absolutely insane. I thought Survivor Series this year was pretty good. I'm not sure why WWE still consider it in their top 4 pay-per-views of the year, but this one, they actually managed to pull it off. Considering Seth Rollins got injured only 2 weeks ago, they had to scramble together a tournament in the last few minutes, but actually they pulled it off and I really enjoyed this show. What did you guys think? If you guys could comment in the comment section, of course, what you thought of the pay-per-view. I'd really like to know you guys' opinions, so let's kick things off by talking about the first match and we'll make our way through the match card. So we'll kick things off with the Alberto Del Rio against Roman Reigns match, and once again we had an absolutely fantastic tournament match. Every single match in this tournament has been almost 5 stars. They've been so good, and this was a really good way to start the show as well. It was a brilliant match, another amazing tournament match. Every match in the tournament has been just so fantastic. It's ridiculous how consistent the matches have been recently, and I really enjoyed it. It was a great way to start the show. It built our anticipation for the main event because we knew who was going to be in the final from the first match, because obviously we kicked things off with Roman Reigns against Del Rio, and then we had Ambrose against Kevin Owens. So we were sat on the edge of our seats waiting for the main event. We knew it was going to be Ambrose against Reigns, and I thought it was great to get the 2 semi-finals kicking off the show in a great style, so we could look forward to the final main event at the end of the show. And yeah, both matches were absolutely fantastic. Reigns against Del Rio was one of the matches of the night. It was absolutely brilliant. We all knew that Reigns was getting to the final, so WWE tried their hardest to make it look like Del Rio had a chance. He got so many near falls, it was ridiculous, and at one point I almost thought Del Rio was going to win the match, but thankfully Roman Reigns got the win. There was no question he was making his way to the final, but it was a really entertaining match nonetheless. That proves that a match can be as predictable as hell, but it was still really, really entertaining, an explosive way to start the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and was potentially Roman Reigns' best match in the WWE. And it was so good. So Roman Reigns made his way to the final, and then we had Dean Ambrose against Kevin Owens. So once again they go with Dean Ambrose to get the win, and I agreed with this. I thought Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns should be in the final of the tournament because that tells a much better story. You've got 2 brothers from the Shield fighting for the title that their ex-partner Seth Rollins dropped. It was telling an incredible story. It was a lot better than if we had Del Rio against Ambrose in the final or Owens against Reigns in the final. It had to be Ambrose against Reigns, and that's exactly what they did. It was slightly predictable, but both matches, the Del Rio and Reigns match and Owens and Ambrose match, were both incredible matches. Maybe Owens against Ambrose was slightly better, but both really good matches. Honestly, it was predictable, but still there was a slight little bit in the back of your mind thinking maybe Owens is going to win this. It was just such an incredible match. Really enjoyed it. I agreed with both results. I thought Ambrose and Reigns was the best decision. They're the 2 top guys in the company. Made sense for them to be in the main event. But yeah, I thought it was a thoroughly enjoyable tournament overall as well. Really enjoyed it. Like I said, every single match was incredible. And yeah, what a way to end the Survivor Series tournament. Absolutely loved it. We'll talk about the main event at the end of the show, which probably ended up being the worst match in the whole tournament overall, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. So both matches, the 2 semi-final matches, were absolutely brilliant. I had no doubt they were going to be brilliant, but they were probably better than they thought they were going to be, and I really enjoyed them. They also got both results right, which is really positive. The next match was a kind of really crappy match. It was Ryback, the Usos, and the Lucha Dragons defeating the New Day, Sheamus, and King Barrett. Now, it was a bit of a bore. This match really didn't make any sense. It was a rematch from Monday Night Raw, but for some reason, they didn't announce it prior to the pay-per-view, so for some reason they kept it a secret, which made absolutely no sense because it was the least exciting match on the pay-per-view. Now, I said it was crappy. It wasn't crappy, it was just completely pointless, and it was really confusing when Big E got injured and then Xavier Woods and Kofi just decided to leave the ring, leaving Sheamus on his own to fight 3 of the members of the other team. This made absolutely no sense. It was completely dumb, and Sheamus took the loss for his team, which made absolutely no sense considering the main event ended with Sheamus cashing in. So, Sheamus got buried at the end of this match, which made absolutely no sense, but the ending was sort of cool with the Ryback Shell Shock, the Uso Splash, and I think it was a Sin Cara Swanton Bomb. So it looked good, but really, Sheamus is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. They maybe did this to make you think that Sheamus was out of it and had no chance of cashing in later on in the night, but he's a champion, he should be looking strong. It also didn't make any sense for the New Day to walk out halfway through the match. The match was already crappy, so to do this during the match, I was just switched off from then on. And it just made absolutely no sense. A bit of a filler match, but at the end of the day, they did scramble together this pay-per-view quite nicely considering the circumstances, so I'm not going to complain too badly about this match. The next match was actually okay Divas match. It was Charlotte against Paige. Was given plenty of time. It was probably given more time than the actual main event of the show. Now, it was an okay match. It was quite physical. For some reason, Charlotte and Paige make so much noise during the ring, during their matches. They just scream all the time. It's ridiculous. But this match was okay. It was definitely very, very physical, which we're not used to seeing in a Divas match. It was just a little bit too slow paced. A lot of rest holds as well. And also, it's really predictable as well. We all knew Charlotte was going to win. She's only just won the belt. It was kind of payback for what Paige said on Monday Night Raw as well. So it was a really predictable match. Not amazing. It was okay. Not the best Divas match of the year. There hasn't been many good Divas matches this year, if you ignore NXT. So, we're not going to complain too much about this match. It got given plenty of time, which is a positive, but at the end of the day, we always knew that Charlotte was going to win. It was pretty physical, which is strange to see, but Charlotte winning with the figure 8, and it was an okay match, but nothing too impressive, and the correct decision as well. I wouldn't have liked to see another Paige and Charlotte match if Paige won the title here, so gladly Charlotte defeated Paige, and she can move on to bigger and better things, hopefully Sasha Banks, but we'll have to wait and see. The next match was Tyler Breeze defeating Dolph Ziggler. This match was okay. I was expecting a hell of a lot better. I thought that Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler, two great guys, two great wrestlers, were going to put on an incredible match. Actually, it turns out that Reigns had a better match, which is quite surprising. I thought Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler were going to have one of the matches of the night, but they really didn't. I don't think it was given enough time. I think the whole pay-per-view was surrounding the WWE Championship, so I don't think anybody was too bothered hugely about this match either. But it would have been nice to put on a great match. It wasn't amazing. These guys can definitely put on a much better match. Maybe they'll do a rematch on Raw and we'll get the match we probably deserved tonight because it wasn't great. But they chose the best decision with Tyler Breeze beating Dolph Ziggler. So Ziggler puts over Tyler Breeze, which was the best decision because he's just come up to the main roster. He'll be wanting to make a name for himself, and that's exactly what he did. So he cemented his roles with Summer Rae, so their gimmick's looking great at the moment. And also his Q&A on the pre-show with Tom Phillips was absolutely hilarious. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It was absolutely hilarious and really, really funny. But yeah, I'm really liking this Tyler Breeze gimmick. I just wish he'd had a better match here because I know he can put on a hell of a good match, and I thought Dolph Ziggler was the guy to put him over and have a good match together. Now, he put him over, but it just wasn't a good match. So he didn't look great. Could have looked a hell of a lot better. But it's nice to see he got the win, and I'd probably go for another match between these two because I think they could do a better job. But best decision was Tyler Breeze to go over, and that's exactly what happened. The next match was The Undertaker and Kane, the Brothers of Destruction, defeating Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. I saw rumours that Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt were going to team up in this match, but I was glad they chose Luke Harper instead because we all know he's the better wrestler. He was going to put on a better match than if you had Braun Strowman in the match, so that is a positive, I suppose. But I was kind of miffed that the Brothers of Destruction got the win here. I thought that Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper were going to pick up the win because they're younger. They've just recently reformed the Wyatt family, so I was thinking, well, surely The Undertaker and Kane are going to put over the Wyatt family here because they've only just recently reformed. They brought in Braun Strowman. So I thought, surely the Wyatt family have got to get the win here. They started the feud. They attacked Undertaker in the first place. It makes sense for the Wyatt families to get the win. But the Undertaker and Kane just won. Now, I suppose it makes sense considering they were celebrating the Undertaker's 25th anniversary, but at the end of the day, Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper, they're younger guys. They're going to do a lot more with a win than Undertaker and Kane are going to do with a win. We probably won't see Undertaker until WrestleMania. So this win really doesn't do a lot in the grand scheme of things. And where does Bray Wyatt go from now? I thought this was his big break. He was finally going to get put over by somebody. And Undertaker... it's just freaking annoying. Undertaker beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania, so why give him the win again at Survivor Series? I thought this is Bray Wyatt's big break. Bryan, no idea where the Wyatt John Cena's out on a break. You'd be looking towards putting over the younger guys. So, for example, Bray Wyatt, you could make a huge main event star out of Bray Wyatt, and he should have been put over here, but for some reason, 25 years into Undertaker's reign, and he's still winning and beating anybody on the roster. This should have been Bray Wyatt's time. They should have passed the torch to Bray Wyatt here, and he should have avenged Undertaker's win at WrestleMania. But for some reason, they gave it to The Undertaker and Kane, which absolutely bugged the hell out of me. We're not going to see him until WrestleMania, so yeah, that kind of sucks. But the match was good. It was enjoyable, and I actually quite liked it. There was way better matches on the card, though. Del Rio against Reigns was better, and Owens against Dean Ambrose was better. But still a really, really good match. I don't think the build was that good going in towards it. I think it kind of lost steam really, really quickly. But yeah, it was a good match. Just come on, Bray Wyatt should have won here. I have no idea where he goes from this point because he should have bloody won. So we now move on to the main event, which was Dean Ambrose against Roman Reigns. It was cool that they got the semi-final matches out of the way at the start of the show, and then we had to build our anticipation towards the main event. We knew who was going to be in the main event, so it was really, really exciting. To be honest, I thought the tournament overall was quite predictable. You could probably have predicted every match, and we all knew that probably Dean Ambrose and Reigns were going to be in the final, and they were going to face each other, so it's slightly predictable. But at the end of the day, it was a cool idea. They did well to put together a tournament in only 2 weeks. And actually, every single match was enjoyable, except the final. I thought the actual last match was a bit of an anticlimax. I think it was probably the worst match in the tournament. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't up to par with every other match on the tournament. It was an okay match. It just wasn't given enough time. It was given like 5-10 minutes if you're being nice. I know both guys probably put on a 4-star match at the start of the show. They're doing double duty. But it was a title match. I was expecting a little bit more from it. I think Reigns hit his spear way too early in the match. I think the crowd kind of lost a little bit of momentum when the first spear was hit. And yeah, it really didn't pick up any momentum from that point on. The Superman punch was hit really early in the match as well. It was just a little bit too fast. I'm not sure if they were short of time or whatever. It just felt a little bit lazy. It wasn't great. We were expecting a lot more from the final. I mean, it was the final for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. You were expecting a little bit more. It wasn't bad. I'm not hating on it. It just, we were expecting a little bit more, considering these are our two top guys in the company. It was right to have Ambrose and Reigns in the final. They are the two top guys in the company, so there's no question about that. It just really didn't deliver, and I think it was kind of a shock that the match ended as soon as it did. I was like, what? It's over already? Yeah, I was pretty surprised about that. But the show actually ended for 20 minutes. It was 40 past 3, so it was 20 minutes too early. So I was like, oh, maybe Sheamus is going to cash in. Now, there was a hell of a lot of confetti. That was absolutely retarded. I'm not sure how Sheamus legally was allowed to cash in. I mean, how much confetti there was there, it was like a health and safety nightmare. It was absolutely retarded. But I was quite impressed that Sheamus didn't win with a 1-2-3 really, really quickly. They actually waited it out a bit. So he hit the first bro kick and Reigns kicked out. So I was like, oh, hang on a minute, something's going to happen here. So he had to hit another bro kick. That kind of built the anticipation a bit. It's nice that they used to do it where the person literally cashed in on one. I like it where they have a little bit of a match. And yeah, they built the anticipation. I was like, hang on a minute, is Reigns going to beat Sheamus here? It's like, ooh, But yeah, I thought it was really cool, and I think Sheamus winning and walking out as the champion is the best option. I think everybody knew Reigns was going to win the tournament, so the fact that Reigns didn't actually walk out at Survivor Series as the champion was a little bit of a shocker, not too much of a shocker, but it just takes away the predictability a little bit. They were going to put the title on Reigns anyway, even if Rollins wasn't injured, so I think it's cool that Sheamus walked out as the champion. I think if Reigns won and he just walked out at Survivor Series the champion, it would have just been a bit meh. We all knew that was going to happen, but Sheamus walking out as the champion puts a little bit of a spanner in the works, and I think it makes it a hell of a lot more exciting. And I think heading into WrestleMania, WWE is going to be a lot more exciting than having Reigns as the champion. I think if Sheamus can carry up that until WrestleMania, things will get really, really interesting. I think they're keeping the belt off Reigns because they think fans are going to get behind him. It's kind of like a Daniel Bryan journey where he can just never keep hold of the title. I'm not buying into it. I think I'd much rather have Sheamus as our champion at this point. But it was kind of Reigns' time considering everybody's out injured at this point. But I think Sheamus was a better option to walk out of Survivor Series as the champion. Reigns was just way too bloody obvious. So, overall, what did I think of the Survivor Series pay-per-view? I actually thought they did a really, really good job, considering they only had 2 weeks to make a tournament. So, overall, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10, which I think is a really, really good rating. Del Rio against Reigns was great. Owens against Ambrose was great. The Brothers of Destruction against the Wyatt family was pretty good. And the final tournament, the actual final was okay. I really like the fact that we got to see a cash-in tonight as well. That always makes, a crappy pay-per-view quite worthwhile. But this wasn't a crappy pay-per-view. I actually thought this was quite good, considering they only had 2 weeks to build most of the matches. So, what did you guys think? Comment below. But, thanks for watching, guys. Remember to take care, spike your hair.